Hello and good evening. You're watching Express News with me, Nancy Kohli. Let's take a look at the top stories of the day. Today is the 95th birth anniversary of former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. The nation paid tribute to the former Prime Minister today. President Ramnath Kovind paid floral tributes at his Samadhi Sadaiv Atal. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also paid floral tributes at Sadaiv Atal. Sharing a video on Twitter as a tribute, the Prime Minister said that there are many lessons that can be learned from Vajpayeeji's life. On the occasion, a host of leaders also paid homage to the former Prime Minister. Union Home Minister Amit Shah, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, other Union Ministers, BJP veteran leader L.K. Advani were among those who offered floral tributes. Leaders paid tribute to former Prime Minister in the Parliament too. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla, Prime Minister Modi and other parliamentarians paid tribute to former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee in Parliament's Central Hall. Prime Minister Modi launched the Atal Bhujal Yojana on the occasion of birth anniversary of former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. With an outlay of 6,000 crore rupees, the scheme aims to improve the groundwater management through community participation in identified priority areas in 7 states. The Prime Minister also released a booklet on the guidelines for the Jal Jeevan mission. Prime Minister Modi also honoured the contribution of former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee by naming the strategic tunnel under Rohtang Pass after him. The 8.8 kilometre long tunnel is the world's longest tunnel above an altitude of 3,000 metres. It will reduce the distance between Manali and Leh by 46 kilometres. Prime Minister Modi unveiled the statue of former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee at Lok Bhavan in Lucknow. Uttar Pradesh Governor Anandiben Patel, Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh and Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath were also present on the occasion. Prime Minister Modi also laid the foundation stone for the Atal Bihari Vajpayee Medical University in the Uttar Pradesh's capital. The state government has given 50 acres of land for the varsity. Tributes were also paid to the freedom fighter Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya on his birth anniversary today. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla, Prime Minister Modi, Union Minister Rajnath Singh and other dignitaries paid homage in Parliament. Prime Minister Modi had a telephonic conversation with the President of Afghanistan, Ashraf Ghani, on Tuesday. The Prime Minister congratulated President Ghani on the announcement of preliminary official results of the presidential elections. Prime Minister Modi also extended an invitation to President Ghani to visit India at an early, mutually convenient date. Union Home Minister Amit Shah categorically dispelled any myth on National Population Register, the National Register of Citizens and the Citizenship Amendment Act. In an interview to a news agency, the Home Minister made it clear that there is no link whatsoever between the NRC and the NPR. A large number of Indian Americans have come out in support of the amended citizenship law and the proposed National Register of Citizens, holding rallies in several US cities. They held a rally in New York to show support for the legislation. The students of IIT Bombay took out a rally expressing their support to Citizenship Amendment Act. The banners of the rally read, "The students stand against the violence and politicization of educational campuses for fueling protests," and the students welcome the persecuted minorities. Jharkhand Mukti Morcha Legislature Party leader Hemant Soren staked claim to form the new JMM Congress RJD alliance government in the state after meeting with the governor Draupadi Murmu. The governor invited Soren to form the government. The oath-taking ceremony of JMM-led government in Jharkhand will take place on 29th December. The Jharkhand Mukti Morcha-led alliance won 47 seats in the 81-member Jharkhand Assembly. The CBI has taken over the investigation into the Yamuna Expressway Authority scam and named former CEO PC Gupta and 20 others in its FIR. The agency has acted on the recommendation of the Uttar Pradesh government to probe alleged irregularities in purchase of the land. Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar presented the annual Akashvani Awards in New Delhi on Tuesday. All India Radio has been conferring these awards since 1974 for enhancing professional excellence of employees at its various centres and establishments. Speaking at the Akashvani Annual Awards, the INB minister said that the government will introduce digital radio in 2024, which will have better audio quality and also have a higher reach. The northern part of the nation is in the grip of a severe cold wave. The national capital recorded a minimum of 6 degrees Celsius today. The city witnessed moderate to dense fog in the morning. The mercury is likely to drop to 4 degrees Celsius by the weekend. Cold wave continued to sweep most parts of Haryana and Punjab, with Narnaul reeling at a minimum temperature of 3.2 degrees Celsius. Severe cold weather conditions are likely to continue for the next 2 days as well. The Delhi Metro completed 17 years of public service today. The Delhi Metro began operations 25th December in 2002. Christmas is being celebrated across the world with religious fervor and enthusiasm. Celebrations kicked off in the Palestinian city of Bethlehem on Tuesday with a message of joy and peace. Pope Francis ushered in Christmas celebrations for Christians across the world, saying the celebration of Jesus' birth reminded humanity how God continues to love us all, even the worst of us. Wishing Merry Christmas to all the fellow citizens, the President in a tweet said that this is a day to renew our commitment to values of compassion, love and fraternity. May Jesus Christ bless us all with happiness and joy. Extending greetings on Christmas, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu wrote on Twitter, I quote, "As we celebrate the birth of Christ, let us cherish the values he symbolized. Let's be more compassionate to those who are less fortunate than us and do our best to build a better world on strong foundation of peace, tolerance and harmony. May this festival bring boundless joy in our lives," unquote. Midnight Mass was held in the churches across the country on Christmas Eve to mark the birth of Jesus Christ. Christians from various regions visited the churches at midnight and offered prayers for their loved ones in the national capital, Delhi. In Maharashtra, Midnight Mass was held in St. Michael's Church in Mumbai. In Karnataka, Midnight Mass was held at the St. Francis Xavier's Cathedral in Bengaluru. In Tamil Nadu's Madurai, Christmas celebration witnessed at St. Mary's Church. The Midnight Mass prayers were held on Christmas Eve. People were seen lighting candles at the church. People in Agartala also visited church at Midnight Mass. They sang carols and offered their prayers to the Christ. Chennai was all decked up for Christmas celebrations. Midnight Mass prayers were held at St. Paul's Church. In Kerala's Thiruvananthapuram, the Midnight Mass prayers took place at St. Joseph Cathedral at Palayam Church on Christmas Eve. In Kolkata, the Midnight Mass prayers also took place at Christ of King Church on the eve of Christmas to mark the birth of Jesus Christ. The armed forces also celebrated Christmas with joy and fervor on the line of control in Kashmir. Surfing Santas took over the waves at Cocoa Beach in Florida in what has become a Christmas Eve tradition. The event raised $40,000 for donation. The water skiing Santa Claus returned to the Potomac as part of a decade-long Christmas season tradition. The North American Aerospace Defense Command kept up its decade-long Yuletide custom of tracking Santa Claus. NORAD's Santa tracking website provides real-time animated updates of the worldwide journey. Osakans participated in the traditional Night of the Radishes festival, where elaborate sculptures are made from the popular edible root. Gardeners and artists come together just before Christmas Day to exhibit various sizes and strains of radishes. The government think tank Niti Aayog member Ramesh Chand made a case for only 2 slabs under the goods and services tax regime as against the multiple slabs currently, and said that the rate should be revised annually if required. State-owned power giant NTPC is planning to add 10 gigawatt of solar energy generation capacity by 2022, which entails an investment of around 50,000 crore rupees funded by the green bonds. The Reserve Bank on Tuesday introduced a new semi-closed prepaid payment instrument which can be used for transaction of goods and services up to a limit of 10,000 rupees. The pan-India rollout of electronic toll collection on national highways has resulted in the issuance of 1.1 crore FASTags till date. Hong Kong marked Christmas Eve with tear gas, petrol bombs and mall clashes as battles between democracy activists and riot police swept through a major shopping district. US President Donald Trump said that he and Chinese President Xi Jinping will sign the first phase of the US-China trade deal that will suspend planned escalations and lower tariffs on a portion of the affected products. Iraq's parliament approved a new election law that will allow voters to elect individual lawmakers instead of choosing from the party list. It will also allow each member of parliament to represent a specific electoral district instead of groups of legislators representing entire provinces. Hundreds of anti-government protesters marched in southern Iraq to mourn a dead activist. The demonstrators opposed the political class that has run the oil-rich yet poverty-hit country. The death toll in Indonesia bus crash has reached 28. The deceased include 8 children as well. The bus plunged into a ravine earlier on Indonesia's Sumatra Island. Japanese prosecutors arrested a member of parliament from the ruling Liberal Democratic Party for allegedly receiving several million yen in bribes from a Chinese gambling operator in exchange for promoting its interests. An earthquake of 6th magnitude struck off the west of Canada. The quake was the epicenter in the Pacific Ocean. No casualties or damage has been reported. Another earthquake of 5.8 magnitude struck central Colombia. The quake's epicenters were very close to each other, although no casualty has been reported. Thousands stranded at the shuttered ports as Typhoon Fanfon pummeled the central Philippines on Christmas Day. The typhoon brought a wet and miserable holiday season of 2 millions. Ukrainian government has approved the visa-free regime respectively with Colombia and Ecuador. Under the agreements, citizens of both the countries would be able to spend up to 90 days in the host country without the visa. Chinese Premier and Japanese Prime Minister held bilateral meeting a day after a trilateral summit between China, Japan and South Korea. The trilateral summit provided a chance for the leaders of Japan and South Korea to meet for the first time in more than a year and stressed the need to improve the ties. A 17-year-old Australian tourist and a 40-year-old New Zealand tour guide are presumed dead. New Zealand police have called off the search of the bodies of 2 missing victims since the White Island volcano eruption early this month after extensive efforts. Russian-backed Syrian army has intensified its offensive, compelling hundreds of civilians fled the city as well as other towns in the rebel-held Idlib province. Syrian troops surrounded a Turkish observation post in an offensive targeting a significant rebel pocket of the province. The police in Nepal have detained 122 Chinese men and women in its biggest crackdown on crime by foreigners entering the country on tourist visas. The Chinese are suspected of cybercrime and hacking into bank cash machines. At least 35 civilians killed in an attack in the Burkina Faso, almost all of them women. 7 soldiers and 80 armed fighters have also been killed in the double attack on a military base in Arbinda town in Somme province. Christmas celebrations have been called off in Burkina Faso to mourn for the deceased of the recent double attack in the region. In Florida, 3 adults have been killed in an apparent murder-suicide on Christmas Eve while 4 young children were inside the home. The 3 dead adults suffered gunshot wounds. Investigation is underway into the case. Another high tide hit Venice a month after the worst flooding in 50 years. The water level in the city recovering from the flood again rose to 139 centimeters. An Iranian fighter crashed in the north of the country near the border with Azerbaijan. The rescue teams and 3 search helicopters have been deployed to look for the pilot who was said to have contacted his base following the crash. At least 15 people got injured after a Russian passenger helicopter made a rough emergency landing in Siberia. The Mi-8 helicopter with 21 passengers and 3 crew members got caught in a snowstorm soon after taking off. In Ecuador, 600 gallons of diesel fuel sank into the waters of the Galapagos Islands on Sunday after a train toppled onto a barge and caused it to overturn, prompting an emergency cleanup in one of the world's most revered natural destinations. Around 30 ballet dancers accompanied by musicians from the Paris Symphony Orchestra held a performance in front of the famous Palais Garnier Opera House to protest the French government's planned pension reforms. World Crafts Council of Asia Pacific region will enlist the wood carving art in the Iranian city of Malayer in the World Arts. The World Craft Council inspectors visited Malayer to examine the provincial handicraft and wood carving for registration. Virat Kohli will end the year as the top-ranked batsman, while Ajinkya Rahane slipped a rung to be 7th in the ICC Test rankings. Mayank Agrawal and Rohit Sharma wrapped up the top 20. Virat Kohli has been named Captain of Test of the Decade and Dhoni as the captain of the ODI team of the decade by Australia's official cricket news website. Kumble is happy with the Kings 11 Punjab's new acquisitions. The presence of West Indies left-arm fast bowler Cottrell and hard-hitting Glenn Maxwell could be the crucial factor. Experts believe that Kings 11 Punjab appears the most balanced team. Mayank's return relief to Karnataka team facing health and injury concerns. By the return of Mayank Agrawal, Karnataka will look to consolidate on its decent start to the Ranji Trophy. Star India pacer Jasprit Bumrah's fitness will be tested ahead of his national comeback when he turns out for Gujarat in the Ranji Trophy match against Kerala. Sania Mirza returned to the Indian Fed Cup team after 4 years as she was named in the 5-member squad, which features country's top singles players Ankita Raina. Sania last played Fed Cup in 2016. Manu Bakar fired away to twin gold medals in the women's 10-meter air pistol senior and junior events of the National Shooting Championship in Bhopal on Tuesday. South Africa will seek a happy end to a miserable year for the country's cricket team when they play England in the first match of a World Test Championship series starting at the Supersport Park. Ben Stokes did not train with England on Tuesday because his father has been admitted to hospital in South Africa suffering a serious illness. Stokes' father is in a critical condition after being taken to hospital. Cricket South Africa was in chaos as players were in dispute with the higher-ups over commercial rights and a major sponsor withdrew its support and the accreditation of 5 respected journalists were revoked. Frank Lampard has defended Antonio Rudiger after he was criticised for his part in Tottenham forward Son Heung-min's red card. Manager Jose Mourinho was unhappy with the Blues defender's reaction to Son's challenge. Manchester United boss Ole Gunnar Solskjaer says the club are further behind in the development that he hoped for at this stage of the season. United, who host Newcastle on the Boxing Day, sit 8th in the Premier League. Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp says Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain will miss at least the Premier League leaders' next 2 games with ankle ligament damage. Midfielder was forced off during Club World Cup final. Former Newcastle and West Ham boss Alan Pardew has been appointed head coach of the Dutch top flight strugglers until the end of the season. Manchester City's Mendy and Mahrez revealed their favourite Christmas song and who Pep Guardiola's favourite else would be in this week's Football Focus Honesty Cards. Mario Mandzukic leaves Juventus for Qatar's Al Duhail. He was a World Cup runners-up with Croatia in 2018 and has joined Qatar's club Al Duhail on a free transfer deal after the end of his contract with his Italian team. Javier Tebas won a third 4-year term as president of Spanish Football League. Tebas was the only candidate standing for the election originally scheduled for next October. Boston Celtics Turkish-born center Enes Kanter will play against the Toronto Raptors in Canada on Christmas Day, his first match outside of the US for more than a year. Boxing Review of 2019 declares Joshua, Ruiz, Wilder, Inoue and Taylor light up the year. There were fights that thrill, fights that never happen and fights that simply stun us, says Steve Bunce. Australian Open organisers have increased the prize money to more than £38 million, with the biggest gains for those losing in the earlier rounds. The overall prize fund for the tournament has increased by 14% to 71 million Australian dollars. British middle distance runner Alexandra Bell says she is considering taking legal action against UK athletics after being overlooked for funding for the Tokyo Olympics. More than 20,000 New Zealand fans are expected to throng the Melbourne Cricket Ground on Thursday to watch their side play their first test at the iconic ground since 1987. Megastar Amitabh Bachchan, who skipped National Film Awards due to health issues, took to Twitter to share his health status. The actor said he's gradually improving. Former Miss World Manushi Chiller has been voted the vegetarian personality, the most smartest vegetarian personality by American Animal Rights Association, the PETA. The last big release, Good News of 2019, starring Akshay Kumar, Kareena Kapoor Khan, Kiara Advani and Diljit Dosanjh, dropped a new poster of the film and wished fans a Merry Christmas. Ahead of Good News' official release, the film was screened for a select few on Tuesday evening in Mumbai, and it has apparently received a positive response. The Hindi film industry stars attended a special screening of the upcoming film Ghost Stories, which is to be released on Netflix. The film includes 4 short horror stories directed by Anurag Kashyap, Zoya Akhtar, Karan Johar and Dibakar Banerjee. 3 Idiots, one of the most iconic films, turned 10 this Christmas. Directed by Rajkumar Hirani, the film stars Amir Khan, R. Madhavan and Sharman Joshi. Wonder Woman Gal Gadot is set to star in the adaptation of the controversial novel What a Life with Keshet. Actor Karthi will be seen playing dual roles in his next yet untitled Tamil film with director P.S. Mithran. Karthi was last seen in Thambi. Varun Dhawan and Shraddha Kapoor star Street Dancer 3D is set to release its new song named Garmi. Actor Varun Dhawan took to Twitter to share the news. Anurag Kashyap and Vikramaditya Motwani's Sacred Games has found a mention on the New York Times list of 30 best international TV series of the decade. Other shows that were featured on the list include Britain's Broadchurch, The Crown and Fleabag, Spain's Money Heist and Israel's Prisoners of War. Out of 30 shows, 12 are from Britain. Pop singer Justin Bieber is returning to the music scene in the new year with a new single, an album, a tour and a docuseries. The singer made the announcement on social media on Christmas Eve. Actor Priyanka Bose, best known for her role in the Oscar-nominated Lion, is set to star in a recurring role in the live-action fantasy series The Wheels of Time opposite Rosamund Pike. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of the news. Thanks for being with us.